afternoon, folks. You join me on a tentative yet excited afternoon. I have to ask my question, have we been here before? Yes. Should we be doing it again? Questionable. Am I excited? Definitely. What are these, you ask? This is me keeping a promise to myself. This is me also arguably making a rash decision and possibly needing my head looking at. I threatened to do it, and I battered the idea about. And I'll be honest, about a week ago, I was up in Scotland and I just thought, what am I waiting for? What is the point? You got weather like this, I've got an enthusiasm like I've got. What am I holding off for? So a decision was made. Triggers were pulled. And I find myself here. And I don't mean to be cryptic, folks, I've touched on this before. I got a gift off my parents for my 40th birthday, which meant the world to me. It had an internal failure and it broke my heart. And I've been meaning for nearly 10 years now. I know you think I'm 25, I'm 49. I've been meaning to replace it. And just the other day, one came around at just the right price and I figured it was time. Now there is something that comes with these, which is the accepted risk. They're 20, 30, possibly even 40 years old, somewhere out there. You have to understand that when you're buying into them. Now, what broke my heart last time when it failed won't happen again. After the initial failings that caused the end of it all, I did a lot of reading into it, and I've learned what to test and how to test since then. This is going to make me a very happy boy. Now it is, as you could probably guess, a 120 medium format film camera. It's the Bronica ETRS model I've gone for. There is a lot of ETRS AEis out there, but to my knowledge the only difference is the ETRS AEi has mirror up function and it has a bulb function, whereas this is like a long exposure mode. I'm not going to be doing either of those of these. Yes, cosmetically, I don't know if you can see, it looks in absolutely superb condition, which is a great starting point because these things can and do generally take a hammering. This particular one I've been watching for a while. It's come from Harrison's Camera in Sheffield. So it's a double bonus. One, I've dealt with them before and they are brilliant. Everything they've said on the descriptions, their returns, it's just not a problem. It's perfect. And the other one is they're a local family-owned camera shop. So you get good vibes off that too. Before we go any further into the technical stuff, just get this. We are dancing around the fire. We have to look at the most important thing to test, and there is a way to do it. I'm just going to pop a battery in it, and it's the leaf shutter timings. Now these take, I think it's called an E28 or an EP28, the battery. Anyway, I always remember there's an LR44, which is one of these. I don't know if you can see that. You can see where the lines line up with the arrows, or maybe you can't. I'll see if I can get in there. There's a line on the battery plate and on the battery housing compartment. They have to line up. Go in that way and slide back. Your electronic components are the key points of failure in these. If it's wrong, it's going to have to go back, and that's the end of it. Please let it be right. So if your batteries or your electronics were to fail, or you remove the battery, for example, the default shutter time will go back to 1/500th of a second. You can tell that it's working is you put the battery in it and you crank it, and it needs to be a minimum of 30 times that you fire the shutter, and you slow it down, probably half a second or quarter of a second. And what you'll hear with that delayed time where the electronics come into play is a two-stage effect. Once you've replaced the battery in the bottom, there's a button on the top here next to your dark slide. Okay, you can see it where the top of the circle to the circle of the dark side lines up. There's a little button in there. You've got to press that, and that will give you a little light in your viewfinder. Don't just press it once. Hold it in for a good 10 seconds. Make sure that stays on. That'll tell you whether you've got power to your camera. See if I can show you. Here we go. There, so good example. That's got health electronics throughout. Now the bit I'm worried about, the shutter timings. Before we get on to that, just got to set up that AEI correctly. The AEI is the viewfinder on the top. And the beauty with the AEI is it's got a light meter built into it, so it takes the guesswork out. You can run it on auto or on manual. Obviously, for the test we're going to do, we need it on manual. Otherwise, when we change the speed, the shutter speed on the body, it's not going to make any difference. Another point to remember on these old Bronicas, if you're looking at them, the viewfinder on the top is, that screen on there is unfortunately really easily marked, even to the point where if you're a bit in a rush or maybe you're a bit clumsy, you're not gonna get one probably with an unmarked screen. That's not going to happen. I've had one of these. I've had a look through dozens of these. Not one's got a clear screen. This one doesn't have a clear screen either. There's a couple of marks in the top left. Again, it looks like where someone's been looking to put the viewfinder back on. But remember, the screen's only indicative. It's not going to show up on your final images. So far, so good with this one. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing. It's a lovely, clean camera. So you can see I've rotated the dial around to M. It takes it out of A. If we leave it on A, obviously it's automatic. I will show you again in a minute. When it meters it, when you half press the shutter button, it'll give you the recommended shutter speed in the window. It's quite a cool little feature because we've wound that on. We've set it to manual. We have normal compensation value, exposure compensation, so I don't want to underexpose or overexpose it. Just for now, I've set it to a 400 speed film. Doesn't really make much odds for this test. If you put that on automatic, that will override the camera timings for the shutter dial, which is here. You can see how it rotates. Not a very clear picture, but it goes everywhere from 1/500th, which is your camera's default timing. I said it's that quick snap of a sound, or the one clunk, as I call it. And it goes right the way around. What is the longest timing on this one? 8 seconds. 8-second exposure. So we're going to set this to half a second first and see how we go. Fingers crossed. This is the nerve wracker, folks. So that's been 25, 26, 30. Perfect. It seems perfect. Let's put it on a 2 second. And let's go for, let's have it on longest. Let's have it on 8, the last one. Getting nervous there. Do you see that? The little twitches coming in. We have health electronics and a healthy camera. Just take the false exposure slide off, put the black slide back in. Happy days, folks. I think it's worth demonstrating as well what happens if your electronics fail. Just take that black slide out. If, God forbid, yours fail, or let's put it on a happier, more positive spin, if you're at a camera shop looking to invest in a Bronica, what happens is you'll give it a couple of actuations, as we've been doing, or like I say, do at least 30. Just say you're at 18 and it goes, you got that delay, that brudung. You'll be halfway through, you maybe at 15, 10, 5, 20 or whatever. All of a sudden, it'll sound like this. Just like that. Really quick. Because this camera reverts back to its original 500th of a second mechanical setting. So if your electronics do go, you can only ever shoot at 500th of a second. What you need is that clunk, click. Let's put it on a second. One last run. Like this. That's what you're after. That is a healthy camera. And now something that if you're considering one of these and you don't want to use on a tripod, I consider an absolute necessity. Speedgrip. Don't lose your bits. There's a special place in hell reserved for people who lose medium format camera parts. There we have the assembled Speedgrip. The idea being is now you can shoot more akin to a handheld camera rather than needing a top-down waist level finder, which are fine, but I find if you're shooting portraits, landscapes, it's so much more natural to be able to bring it up to your eye and shoot it rather than faff around lower down, you know. I want to show you how the shutter time appears in the eyepiece. It's a thing of beauty. It's a bit more shadowy here, isn't it? So what we're going to do is put this on the false exposure mode, a little red switch on the side. I'm going to take a picture of this film box in shadow. So there we have it, folks. A quick walkthrough on what to look for, and whether you're buying the ETR, ETRS, ETRSi, the checks are all the same on these: cosmetic, mechanical, shutter times. And just look for fungus and dings. You can always tell what kind of a life it's had by, you know, if the threads are mashed in on it. They are used in studios a lot and shot to death because they're so well lasting. Some of them are, unfortunately, but this one I seem to have got lucky with the gem, and I thought it's worth having my heart broken previously and having my fingers burnt on an expensive camera that didn't last me anywhere near as long as it should have done. I wanted to share what I learned from the experience with you guys. So if you were possibly thinking about getting into medium format photography and looking at a Bronica, hopefully you can use this information moving forward to make an informed decision, and hopefully you can find a camera as clean and as functional as that one. There will be some pictures. This will be getting used as part of the normal videos as well coming up. I'm not switching to film, it's just something I'm going to use occasionally. Thank you for stopping by, folks. Hope this was useful. Hope this is informative. It is better outside, but today we needed to do this inside. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks ever so much. See you on the next one.